So wait a minute here. Lane has had dust-ups with Howie? So if Lane had dust-ups with Howie, why wouldn't you think Zach Ertz had dust-ups with Howie? Or with Carson Wentz? Or with anyone else? And by the way, I find that out of line. Your place is not to be confrontational unless we're talking contract and numbers. Your place is not to be talking about whether or not you should play or not. That's not your place as a GM. That's over the line. You cut your leadership of your... If you're doing that, no wonder Doug Peterson, like Seth Joyner has said on my show numerous times, kicked the can down the road and said, get me the F out of here. National Football Show. It's your boy Big Silz. Please hit the like button like my friend Tony says. And we start her off here on a Thursday. You know, I think we may have to rename the show Nostradamus because Big Silz said to you folks a couple weeks ago, Joel Embiid will never finish his career in Philadelphia. He won't. Moses Malone did it. Wilt Chamberlain did it. He's never going to finish it there. You know why? It's not that he doesn't want to play in Philly. It's not that he doesn't love the fans. You know why? Your organization's incompetent. They are incompetent. And what happens with incompetence? You do dumb things. They'll do something dumb to piss that guy off, and he'll go down where an organization knows how to build championships in Miami. Just ask LeBron. Where do you think LeBron learned how to be a champion? Cleveland? He went down. I'm going to tell you guys a story about Pat Riley recruiting LeBron. Pat said this on my show when I was on WQAM in Miami. By the way, we got a boatload of stuff. I got an addition to that Howie Roseman, Carson Wentz story. We're also going to take a look at the Eagle depth chart. And I'm going to get your assessment on it, okay? I'm going to get your assessment on it. But I want to tell you a story about Pat Riley. So Pat Riley was recruiting LeBron James to come down and play in Miami. And when he was recruiting him, LeBron sat across the table from him. And you know what Riley did? Riley had a satchel. He took this satchel and he poured these rings out on his desk. And there were 5 of them. All these championship rings that he had won as head coach of the Lakers during Showtime. They're all on his desk. He told LeBron, why don't you pick one up and take a look at it? LeBron's looking at all of them. He goes, you can have one of them. You can have one of those if you come here to Miami. I'll build a team around you. You'll have D. Wade. Chris Bosh is not going to be the 25-10 guy he was in Toronto. He's going to work within a system. Eric Spoelstra is going to be your coach. By the way, Eric Spoelstra, here's another thing Pat Riley developed. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best NBA coaches in the league. Who would have thought that a quality control film guy would be that good? Well, he is that good. I always went Eric Spoelstra. When I was down talking sports in Miami, I went Eric Spoelstra. I got reverence for the guy. He is a great coach. So you got phenomenal leadership down in Miami. Could you see him down there with Jimmy Butler and then building a team around them 2 dudes? Absolutely. 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 The organization will screw that up. I saw Joel Embiid tweet out, you guys are all crazy. I don't want to go anywhere. He was kind of kidding around last night because the Heat got blown off the floor by the Celtics. Hey, by the way, Celtics and Golden State Warriors, that's going to be a pretty good NBA Finals. I got the Celtics winning it all. I think they're going to win it all, dude. And who would have thought Brad Stevens moving upstairs and replacing Danny Ainge, that would have been the key component to it. Okay? Chris, you're dead on, dude. Sixers are a trash can of an organization. They can't get shit right, man. And you think they're going to get it right, keeping Embiid happy? Hell, maybe even Doc Rivers wants out. By the way, I'm going to talk to Doc Rivers next week right here on the program. So we're going to talk to him. All right, let's move on from that. So I got another piece of this story that people are leaking out to me a little bit on this Carson Wentz story. And just to reset it again. So yesterday, a media person inside of Philadelphia, not a sports media person, but someone that's in radio, told me a story. He was out there on the field last year and saw this exchange between Zach Ertz and Howie Roseman. I'll get to that here in a minute, but resetting yesterday, the Seattle game. And when Wentz didn't go back in, it's alleged that Howie Roseman was screaming at Carson Wentz in the locker room in front of his wife, the trainers, everybody. They were floored. If you don't get your ass back out there, you'll never wear this jersey ever again. We'll do everything we can to move you. Now, I don't know if those words were said, but this is the story that I'm being told. People on Twitter going, this is the bit. It might be. But this is a guy that I kind of trust. I'm not going to give his name up, but he works at one of the big FM stations there in Philly. And today he gave me more context. So last year during training camp, there was an argument between Zach Ertz and Howie Roseman. And they were seen screaming at one another. And they were hollering at each other. And it's alleged that Howie Roseman said, our relationship's over. I'm going to do everything in my power to get you the hell out of here. Okay? The owner wanted to keep Zach Ertz. Howie goes, no way. You're out of here. And that's why the exit for Zach Ertz was weird. Okay? Was weird. Now, I ask you again, the way that Zach Ertz was moved to Arizona, we can agree, of all the things that I've said about this story here, do we agree? The way Zach Ertz was treated at the end by the organization was suspect at best. For a guy that was part of that Super Bowl 2017 team, guy takes out an article in the Inquirer, tells the fans how much he loved playing. I didn't hear Howie's name in there. How much he enjoyed his teammates. I went back and read that thing. There wasn't really any direct shot when it came to thanking the organization for the way they treated him. Okay? Now, again, do you buy it? Howie wanted Zach Ertz and Wentz out because he didn't like the way Wentz didn't play with pain. It was a playoff game. Hey, man, I'm telling you. And by the way, he was never the same after that Clowney hit. And then the relationship, supposedly in the locker room, Zach Ertz saw this. And the relationship with Howie and Zach Ertz was never the same. Do you buy it? Do you buy it? Was this done because Howie sticks his nose in the offensive play calling? Rico, I don't know. I'm just relaying a story here. I'm Switzerland on it, whether or not I believe. Somewhere in the middle, there's some truth to something because the Ertz dealing, he plays like on a Monday night, they deal him as he's walking off the field. Hey, you've been traded. I told you this last year when that went down. I have never in my time playing or covering the sport ever seen this. A player walking off the field was met in the tunnel. You've been dealt to Arizona. I have never seen that in my life, heard of it ever in my life. Guy just gets done playing. What if he got hurt? The deal would have been null and void. He just goes, oh, by the way, you're out of here. You're in Arizona. Remember what Zach Ertz said walking off the field? Quite a place to tell me. He was in the tunnel. Miguel, appreciate you coming aboard. Okay? I mean, tell me you don't think that's a weird way to exit a team that you gave your soul for. As much as I dislike Howie, I can't even imagine that little nerd screaming at anyone. That said, I am shocked this story never made it and never got out there. Hey, look, people were saying that Lincoln Riley was going to be the next Eagle head coach. That had no substance to it. That was never going to happen. There was a $6 million tenure bonus if he stayed the year that he was supposedly negotiating with the Eagles. He made $6 million extra. He was never leaving. He made $12 million that year. The Eagles were not going to pay that guy $12 million to be the head coach of that football team. Absolutely not. That was never a true story. Ertz wanted a new contract. Howie wouldn't commit because Goddard was going to take the reins. But it was all good. They worked on the destination for Ertz. Knew he was getting traded. Jones says, weird, yes. This story makes no sense. Yeah, I buy it. I find the story by Barrett Brooks about the dust-up between Lane Johnson and Howie. So wait a minute here. Lane has had dust-ups with Howie? So if Lane had dust-ups with Howie, why wouldn't you think Zach Ertz had dust-ups with Howie? Or with Carson Wentz? Or with anyone else? And by the way, I find that out of line. Your place is not to be confrontational unless we're talking contract and numbers. Your place is not to be talking about whether or not you should play or not. That's not your place as a GM. That's over the line. You cut your leadership of your... If you're doing that, no wonder Doug Peterson, like Seth Joyner has said on my show numerous times, kicked the can down the road and said, get me the F out of here. You know, I'm still Switzerland on the story, but you know what? A lot of the dots are starting to line up for me here. Has Lane had dust-ups with Howie? According to people I respect, yeah. Not pay. Shit, they were never going to pay Lincoln Riley $20 million to roll into Philly and coach that team. That midday show on WIP that made that up, it was great content. I give them kudos for doing it. Good for them. But you got to try to connect the dots for people like you guys to go, Silz, give me a break. Clayton goes, Big Silz, how many concussions did you play with? Excuse me, we called them, what do we call them? Zingers. Okay? We didn't call them concussions. We called them dingers. Hey, I got dinged up a little bit. We're ready to go. Not coming out of a football game, especially a playoff game. You kidding me? You have to cut my arm off for me to come out of a game like that. Not cutting out of a game. Absolutely not. Hey, Silz, did you get hit in the head? Let's go, dude. This is a playoff game. Let's roll. We'll worry about that shit after the season. Nuts, how come Howie Roseman's dealing with players one-on-one outside of the negotiating table? That's a good point. You undermine your coach when you do that shit. I don't want to have a GM talking to me about playing time and arguing with a guy whether or not he should play through a concussion. Shut up and know your place, dude. That's the problem with that guy. He doesn't know his place. Look, he's doing a great job building the team. But what's happening here is the thing that brings all men down. What is that? Ego. I gotcha. Hey, Edge. I get you one. I gotcha. Hey, bro. Who you dealing with, bruh? I'm the master architect. Man, they call me Dr. Oppenheimer. That dude created the atomic bomb. You wait till you see in September what I built. I'm Dr. Roseman. I'm the architect. Yes, sir. I gotcha. This guy's talking to people about concussion. What would he know about concussion? Okay? Seriously, what would he know about concussion? This guy's the guy. The only way he would know about a concussion if he fell off his bike. You know, a bike with training wheels? And he didn't have his little crash helmet on. Little tassels, you know, zing, zing, zing. That's the only way he gets a concussion. You think that guy's ever been in combat? I highly doubt it. He looks more like a indoor girl to me, if you know what I mean. Talking about concussions. Now, again, let me back up here because I'm not sure I believe the story too. But I got to think there's something at least to this. Lane Johnson has said that he had a confrontation with Howie. Other players have had confrontations. It's not beneath part of the story to say this. He questioned Carson Wentz's toughness after the Seattle game. Is that fair at least? Okay? Is that fair at least that he questioned the toughness? Next year he goes out and drafts a quarterback who's got all the intangibles that Carson doesn't have. Leadership, toughness. Guy's been beat up a bit. The guy got fired in Alabama, goes to Oklahoma, stars, takes the team to the Final Four, is a Heisman candidate. All of that is anti-Wentz in every way possible. And this guy's sitting behind him. And Howie's going like this, throwing kerosene on this whole thing. Then he gets into it with his boy, Zach Ertz. Isn't it funny? And again, let's take a look who's not on the team anymore. Was Doug a Howie Roseman guy? Oh, no. Was Carson Wentz a Howie Roseman guy? No. Was Zach Ertz a Howie Roseman guy? No. All those guys are gone. He blew that whole thing up. You guys are all gone, man. See you later, guys. Thanks. I got you now. You know what that also does, too, to the other players that are left behind? I'll tell you a quick story here, and I'll start reading some of you guys' thoughts. Let me tell you what Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones did when they got in and after they bought the team from Bum Bright. They went in there, man. They fired Tom Landry, Tex Schramm, Gil Brandt. They blew out guys who were in the Dallas Cowboy organization for 30 years. Just blew them out. Guys that had been there, I think it was 29 years. Everyone, secretaries. They kept 5 people. And you know what Jimmy said? Those 5 people will be grateful to keep their gigs, and they'll run through a wall for you. He kept 5 guys, and those 5 guys are still there today. It's brilliant. They kept 5 dudes in the personnel department. And then they brought in Bob Ackles, and everybody knew what they were looking for and how they wanted to do business. So my point is with the Eagles, you get rid of the quarterback, the coach, and another player who are not Howie Roseman guys. The rest of those guys are going to fall in line. They're not going to challenge Howie, not even the head coach. So is there some truth to the story? I think there's some truth to the story in this context. It's how Howie treats people. And it's part of the culture. It's not all because they win. Okay? I'm just saying it's kind of how he does business a little bit internally. Hey, the shit you see put on a portrait, okay, for everyone to see, you don't really know how the painter gets to that, that easel, what he's looking at, how he got to this scene. You just look at the portrait. That's great. See, what the fans don't know. Now, again, do I believe all the story? No. But do I believe that's how he kind of does business? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. NFC East Beast. After the final game of the 2020 season, Wentz and Ertz and Johnson had a powwow on the field. I wish I was a fly on the wall for that conversation. Chris goes, I would agree. Wentz showed more toughness than Lane and Brooks, at least. Wentz's injuries required surgery. We are worried about the young players now. I'm interested to see how the Eagles coming into the NFL now with these paid players. Zach says, I don't think Laurie would have re-signed Howie if he was bashing players. I don't know if it's bashing players, Zach. I think it's the way he deals with players. And I'm saying this. I'm not believing the entire story. I'm saying that he's more involved than what I thought he was. I thought like this. We were talking contract negotiations, and we're sitting here having contract talks. But he goes beyond that. He talks about on the field, toughness to the players. That's your coach's responsibility, my friends. Dominic, Big Silz, keep saying Dallas Monday night. It wasn't against Dallas. It was against the Bucks. Okay. My bad, Dominic. Thank you for correcting it. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Big Moose says Wentz wasn't built for Philly at all. Okay. I don't think he was either. By the way, I'm not defending anything. I'm telling a story here. I'm telling a story. And you can take it for whatever you will. You guys have been around Howie Roseman more than I have. You guys have watched. I'll tell you this. Let me ask you this. Why do you guys hate that? Why do half the fan base hate that guy? I saw on WIP's website, they had a poll. Are you ready to apologize to Howie Roseman now? Apologize for what? What'd you guys say to him? Obviously, I'm not the only one that has heard things about the guy. If a station, who, by the way, is the flagship of the Eagles, is putting a poll out, I don't know if you saw the poll. It said this. Are you ready to apologize to Howie Roseman? For what? For what? What do you apologize? Dude, bad picks ain't going to make me apologize to the guy. That's going to make me go, hey, I might be wrong about the dude. General managers screw up all the time picks. I'm apologizing to a GM on a team. Howie needed to put the fear in the locker room, Rico? That's a head coach's responsibility, not a GM. And again, here, let's add some more fuel to the conversation I'm having with you here. So when Nick Sirianni wanted to get a player that he liked, he had to go and petition for Zach Pascal to join the team. Really? Okay. Most head coaches that have some gravitas in the locker room and in the organization go, I want that guy, and they get him in there for him. Hey, this is why I want Zach. He's my boy. We were great. I think he's underappreciated and Indeed. You got to go make a sales pitch for a guy? Why? The way he's condescending and talks to the media. I gotcha. It's ego. I actually don't mind it. Xander said that to me. Silz, are you all right? Yeah, yeah. I think everybody should have giant cannolis when you're a head coach and GM and quarter. I do. I don't have a problem with people throwing it around. I absolutely don't. But know your role. The undoing of Howie Roseman is going to be his ego, like every other man. Okay? Every other man is ego. Caesar, Jimmy Johnson, Allen Iverson. Pick a guy with gigantic ego. How about even Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan never got a chance to defend his championship because his ego was so big. They said this. Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf goes, hey, I'm just going to rip this thing apart. They were never beat on the floor. They were beat in the front office. The front office ripped that team apart. They didn't even get a chance to defend. Go for a four-peat. Nah, that's all right. We're good. What? The Bulls have never been the same. Egos ripped that apart. Look at the Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones. The Cowboys have won 3 playoff games in 25 years. Ego. Okay? I think Andy knew how to deal with all that stuff. And by the way, hey, help me out on this. Help me on this, guys. Andy Reid mostly dealt with Joe Banner. Is that fair? Andy Reid dealt more with Joe Banner. Okay? Andrew, appreciate you coming aboard. Please hit the like button. Big Moose, right? Joe Banner and Howie learned under Banner. Is that how that whole train went? Brandon says, hey, Ertz said he knew Tuesday he was going to be traded per USA Today. Game was Thursday. Then why'd he play? If you know you're going to be traded to a playoff contending team, and what were the Eagles at the time of that game? Were they still underwater? So if I'm getting traded to a playoff team in Arizona, I'm going to play one more. Hey, I'm going to play one for the team here and see you guys later. And if he gets his knee hurt, he doesn't get the extension that he just got from Steve Keim, because then he's got to go through the whole rehab. Oh, I see. Zach just went like this. Yeah. Don't worry about it, guys. I'll play for you on Thursday night, because that's the kind of guy I am. Nobody in their right mind would have played if they knew they were going to be traded. That's a lie and a dumb story. Oh, hey. I could injure myself, and my chance of getting the contract extension that the Eagles don't want to give me. But I'll play one more for a team that's throwing me out the door. Use your common sense. I mean, right? Well, it's my favorite team, and I'm going to give it the old college try. For Howie and for Jeff, even though they gave me the money I want. Thank you. Hey, Jess, I like it. Hey, Silz, Zach was like, I gotcha. He wanted to play. Well, you know what? That story's the only story South Philly T I've ever heard. And by the way, I know a lot of people in that Arizona organization. I've been talking. They love Zach Ertz. And they gave him just a contract extension. Hey, wait a minute. I'm not telling you Carson Wentz should still be here. By the way, Carson Wentz last year had his best year since 2017. 27-7, had his best year since they won the Super Bowl when he was an MVP candidate. Okay? Steven, I never suggested that Zach Ertz doesn't love Philly. I just wonder what the relationship is. And someone told me that last year there was a screaming match in training camp between the two guys. Gee, I wonder what that was about. Oh, yeah, but then he's going to play for him on Thursday. I'm not using anything as a news source. Beast, I don't know if I'm covering a story more as I'm talking through one. I told you this, Beast. I don't believe all of it. I just believe Howie's mannerisms and how he talks to people in the organization and how he deals with people and how he goes off the range. And he goes off the reservation numerous times. And this is why people like Lane Johnson have confrontations with him. You think Lane Johnson needs to hear Howie Roseman talking about toughness to him or talking about whether or not he should play? Shut up, dude. You're a GM. Okay? Go back on your Peloton and go ride your bike or do something. Whatever you guys do in the front office. Get on your treadmill. Okay? Go to your luncheons. Whatever you guys do. Kiss babies. I don't care. Get out of my face about toughness. The hell would you know? I mean, Howie Roseman probably thinks toughness is a toothache. It's not Peloton? I don't know, man. Does Big Silz look like he gets on a stationary bike? Oh, man. Oh, God, do I love stories like this. I gotcha. Oh, my God, Chris. It's totally a cutthroat business. Chris, that's maybe more the point there. Okay? And by the way, again, I want you all to know, I do think he's doing a good job. I picked you guys to win the NFC. Underline that. I'm telling you a story here on how this guy seemingly talks to people. Now, look, do I think he got in the locker room and looked at Carson Wentz and said, you get your ass out there no matter if you have a concussion or not? Man, do you know the problems that he would have with the NFL Players Association, with the trainers witnessing that? He'd have all kinds of, my God almighty. Urban Meyer got fined for kicking a kicker. And that kicker is going to probably win a lawsuit against the Jags with the help of the NFLPA. However, I'm more talking about how he talks and conducts himself around the room and how he inflicts himself in the locker room. Does that make sense? Okay? Does that make sense? That's all I'm saying here. Okay? Silz, it wants, where am I here? Silz, if Wentz played inside the Foles in 52, you think Wentz would have beaten Brady? If Wentz had played instead of Foles? No. I don't know, man. He was awful hot that year. 17, he was awful hot that year. You know what? Let's go back to 17, Wentz. Probably. Wentz was hot, man. Wentz was hot that year. We have to all agree. He was hot that year. Dude, he was on a roll. He was going to win the MVP. No question about it. I had a vote. I'd have voted him MVP. I have an MVP vote. I would have voted for him. But he went down, I think, in week... What did he go down in? Week 14? Did Wentz go down in week 14? I thought it was either 13 or 14 in LA at the Coliseum. And we all said, he's got to finish the year and he's not going to be ready for the playoffs. And I forget, I think it was week 14. Oh, Gruden's going to win his lawsuit. You see what happened? NFL, hey, the NFL's had a bad week. Chris, I'll get to the NFL's had a bad week in court. Dad says, how do you get an MVP vote? I get an MVP vote for the Players Association vote. It's called the NFL Alumni, and it's part of it. I vote on the Defensive Player of the Year as well. That's how I get a vote. I'm a member. Where is that thing? My card's up there in that bowl. That gives me that vote. Yeah. So, again, okay. Yeah. little bit more about Howie I'm learning here. All right. I need your help. We're going to look at the depth chart of the Philadelphia Eagles as they get ready to go into the July training camp. You got it right in front of me here. And I'm going to need your help here. So we're going to do that. But folks, don't forget Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. If you get hurt or injured on the job, one of the most important things you could possibly do is find that attorney to get you the fair compensation your family needs. For the people, not just a slogan, this is who they are. Again, the one thing for the past 30 years that John Morgan and his team of attorneys have done is make sure you get that fair compensation. 800 strong. They're the biggest casualty law firm in the United States, which means this: no case is too small. No such thing as a fender bender. 800 strong, like I said, attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, Florida, and all across the country are ready to do battle for you. Size matters. They will not be intimidated. So when you go into a courtroom with Morgan & Morgan, they are prepared to serve you. That's what this is all about, making sure you get your fair compensation. Call us free, 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The consultation is free. 800-512-1600, open 24/7, 7 days a week. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor, you tell them Big Silz sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.